residents of Meepletown, today we are children, and what do children like to do?
Build forts, Dean.
They like to build forts, they like to eat pizza, they like to collect toys, they like to do all of those things, and that's what we're going to be doing today in Fort. So let's get to the table and check it out.
All right, Meepletown, so we have Fort set up. We are ready to play. Now, I'm going to be the first player finally, Dean. How about that? First player.
All right.
All right, we did the draft variant to this game. We're not going to show this. But the first time you play this game, you're going to have your two best friends that are indicated on the back of your boards here, and then you're going to get 8 cards. Now, we drafted back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and now we have 10 cards in our deck. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead on my turn, is I'm going to take 5 cards. And after I take those 5 cards, I'm going to be playing one of my cards. If it has an X or a multiplier, which you'll see, I could play more. Besides that, I'm just playing 1. So let's see, and then Dean is going to have the chance to potentially follow. I'm going to play Old Dash here, and because it does have a multiplier right here, I can play as many of these symbols as I could fit, or as many as I could do this particular action here. Do you want to throw this up on the screen so they can see that? And so I have 3 skateboards that I'm playing, the Dash's skateboard and 2 additional ones, which that means I'm going to get 3 pizzas.
Pizza.
Pizza, 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 pizza. Remember what that's from? Pizza.
Little Caesars commercial? Pizza, pizza?
Dude, that's from Home Alone. Remember, he comes down, pizza, pizza.
Oh, yeah. The lovely cheese pizza just for me.
Just for me. All right, so now Dean has the option to follow, but Dean can only follow with 1 card. So the most he can get is 1 cheese, pepperoni. That's a pepperoni pizza. So you just messed up that when you said a cheese pizza just for me. Why Dean's doing that, I'm going to explain to you what we're going for. We're going for victory points in this game.
I'm following, by the way.
Okay, so he'll get a cheese pizza. Or pizza. Dang it, I just screwed it up.
Pizza.
Sons of gun. All right, we're going for victory points in this game. The game will end when someone's fort level gets up here, or whenever somebody gets to 25, or when we can't fill up the park. Now, that is going to be the second part of my turn. We didn't do the first part because we didn't have any friends out in the yard. So these cards are going to go to my discard pile. Actually, before I do that, I take a card. I can now take a card from the park out here or from Dean's yard, but Dean does not have any in his yard, so I'm going to pick one from the park. This is an interesting thing. And I failed to mention another thing, Dean. we're just not doing a good job on this video so far, bro.
We're crushing it.
Okay, put that back up there. Let's explain this to Meepletown. We're so excited, we just want to play the game. The very top action is a public action, meaning Dean can follow that. Now, I can do these in either order. The second action is a private action, meaning only I can do it, which means I get as many victory points as in my backpack. That's why I didn't share that, because I don't got nothing in my backpack, and that's how proper English works. So I get nothing. Okay, I'll have my card back.
All right.
Now that we are properly sharing how to play the game, I'm going to pick a card, and I'm going to pick Punky here because Punky's going to give me a resource of my choice per however many squirt guns I have, but cool, look at this. There is no public action, meaning Dean cannot follow it. That's why he's a Punky. Right, Dean? That's why he's a Punky. All right, so Punky is going to go into my discard pile, as so the cards that I played, as well as any of my best friends, which I have 2 best friends. Now, unfortunately, old Doc... Now, if Dean was facing me the other direction, I'd put it like that, but we're sitting next to each other. Doc is going to my yard, meaning Dean could potentially take Doc, so you got to be careful about what cards you play here. Mm-hmm. Even if you wanted to get a certain action,
that's right.
I could lose Doc. I like Doc.
All right, now over to my turn. John will draw back up to 5 cards in his hand.
And I have 5 cards right here.
That's all right. So... all right, I'm going to discard the cards in my yard. There's nothing there, and I've actually got a little tricky choice right off the bat. So, okay, so I'm going to play my Einstein card, which is just going to give me, it's a book card, and that's just going to give me a resource of any type that I want.
Type. And I was supposed to draw up, which I have only 5 cards left, is why I didn't at the end of my turn. That's the very last thing you do.
Now, when I do that, I'm also going to be, I would have played these out like this. I just had to throw that up there for you to see. So I'm throwing all my cards in my hand now.
Wow.
How about that? For my personal move, which means that I'm going to get victory points times the amount of books that I have on here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I drew a handful of books.
That's a wild.
Right, because your best friend, Blades, my best friend, Blades, is a wild card. Now, I will have to trash this card, but I'm immediately going to get... I already had that on there.
Dang it, Dean! Dean made a faux pas in the video.
I did make a faux pas.
And we had to go back and...
But I did. I was going to get 5 points anyway. I just made a mistake in how I said that. So
that was a huge first move. I shouldn't have let you do
that.
But
I do have to trash this card. Get that.
Yeah, who cares though?
Rip it up. You have to tear it up.
5 points.
Tear the card up. There you go. And then the other benefit of that is I'm leaving nothing in my yard for John.
Yeah.
And that was only for me to benefit from.
Now
so
I could follow that and get a toy.
Yes, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You could follow it to get the toy, but you couldn't follow it to get the victory points.
Of course, Dean.
You gonna follow it to get a toy?
I don't know, Dean.
What you got over there?
Hey, get out of my face. Yeah, the challenge that I have in the...
I got to recruit from the yard as well.
I'm supposed to follow before he starts recruiting, but he's just,
Ooh, that's really good too.
The challenge that I have with that is... Yeah, I am actually am.
Okay.
I'm going to follow with my guy, which again, that's wild, so I'll take a toy. But again, you draw up at the end of your turn like Dean's doing, which only leaves me with 4 cards.
Yeah.
So
let me go ahead and make sure I explain something. I threw that card away. But on that symbol, you get to pick. You may have just said this. I want to make sure it's clear, though. He has to follow whatever one I pick, even if what I get to pick is a pizza or a toy.
That's right.
If that makes sense. So
yeah. So on this symbol here where it says you get to pick either or, I have to follow exactly the good or item that he picks. So the very first part of your turn for the rest of the game after your first turns is you take your yard and your friends come back.
Yep.
So you didn't take Doc. Thanks, Dean.
You're welcome.
I like Doc.
Yeah, I like
sweet.
Doc as well, but I got a different strategy going on over here.
That is accurate. Okay, so I am going to... Yeah. That is tempting. That is tempting. But I'm not. Okay, I'm going to play Crash. And when I play Crash, I'm going to do this private action here, and I'm going to take 2 toys, which means Deanie can't do that, but Dean can follow my public action. My public action is destroy a card in my hand per number of these symbols. But I'm not going to do that, because in this game, you only have to fully complete one of your actions, and you cannot play a card unless you can fully complete one of those. And so I'm just using my private action. Which also, the big negative to that is that I'm going to have to put 3 cards out in my yard, and Dean could take one of those 3 cards. So I don't like that. Look at that. There's Doc right there, huh? All right, I'm going to take a little boss. And then I'm going to discard Crash, and then now Munch, the Scrappers, and Dash are available for Dean to do what he wants with.
That's right.
And now I'm going to draw back up to 5.
Again, I would discard my yard. I've got nothing in the yard because I played all of my cards last time.
I can't believe you have 5 points already.
That will not... Yeah, that might be the most I get for a while. Now, I do now want to build up some resources. What I'd really like to do is I'd like to build my first fort level, because you can build it with 2 of any type of resource. Unfortunately, I don't have a card that allows me to build a fort this time, so I think what I'm going to do is just try to get more resources. I'm going to play this card, which is going to give me pizza specifically for the shovel cards that I play out there, and I do have 3 shovel cards in my hand total. So I'll play that, and now if I didn't have enough space to put my pizza, I wouldn't be able to play all 3 of those, but I do. 2, 3, and then I will discard these. I get to recruit. Let's see. I do kind of have this little shovel engine going on right now. I don't love what John has over there, so I think what I'm going to do is take Bug.
Sweet meat.
Yeah.
Look at that. I should have said sweet meat. You're about to go back and take something after I said that.
No, I won't. Oh, yes. Ghost is one of my favorites. I will say that, though. But Bug will give me victory points for forts, my level forts that I have. And I put my cards into the yard. I'm going to shuffle these up and draw 5 more.
All right, you going to play one more round?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Okay. Whew, I've got a tough
Think you can get 5
decision.
points?
No.
I'll win.
No, that does not count as a win.
Counts as a win. I'm putting it in my app.
Count as a win. Fine, then I'm going to count all mine that I'm leading in as a win. I've got a really interesting decision because I'll be real. I'm just going to let it all hang out just so y'all can see some of the gameplay. I've got Bitsy, who I can increase my fort level, which increasing your fort level is pretty important in this game because you gain victory points, as you can see up here. Also, I would get a made-up rule first, which is in-game scoring. But the thing is Dean can follow that action. So it's really tough for me to take that at this moment because Dean can just follow it up, and the really only advantage I have is I get to pick that first, which is not a bad, could be a big advantage.
That's right.
A decent advantage. The other part of me saying just wait because Dean might want to play that card next because I know he has the exact same card. And
timing is everything in this game.
Timing is
we'll
everything.
Talk about that
for sure. So I'm gonna actually not play it. I'm gonna play Spike, which I unfortunately I cannot do the private action because that symbology iconography means that I'm going to copy my opponent's backpack. Well, Dean has nothing in his backpack. But the public action means per skateboard, I can put goods into my backpack. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 toys into my backpack, forcing Dean, if he wants to play it, to take his only toy to put into his backpack. So try to twist his arm a little bit.
This is a little tricky too because I'll go ahead and say my only skateboard card that I have is the one that allows me to build a fort, and I really would like to build that fort. So I am not going to follow on that one. I do like that. Normally I would, but I really would like to use that card to build up. All right, your turn, and then we'll talk about if we like it or if we don't like it. All right, do you want to recruit?
Oh my goodness gracious! Sakes alive! Yeah, I gotta. Let me just verify here. Yeah, Ghost is pretty sweet because you get to take resources per whatever symbol you choose, and your opponent gets to do nothing. And so Ghost is like an ultimate resource grabbing card.
Yeah. Ooh, all right. So I will discard my yard, and I will go ahead and play. This is a tough one too. Every decision is so difficult in this game, but what I'm going to do is build my fort level, partly just to show you. But in doing that, I've got some good cards in here that I really don't want to get rid of, and they're going to go to my yard, and potentially John is going to take those.
Sweet.
But what I'll do is I'll play my fort card. I will pay 2 resources. I'm going to pay 2 pizzas. Now your first one you can pay 2 of any kind of resource. You do have to pay specific resources as the game progresses. So I'll pay 2 pizza to move my fort level up 1. Then I will take these cards and I will choose one and put the rest of them back.
Now I'm following Dean, so the timing was perfect for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
I thought he would probably play that soon, so that helped a lot. So I'm going to get to do the same thing. However, Dean does get to pick that made-up rule first, which could be important. Could be a game changer.
That's right. Yeah, it definitely can. Ooh, these are some of your favorite ones, actually.
Really?
Yeah, one of your favorite ones.
Oh, my gosh.
It also gives me the benefit of knowing what he's going for right now, potentially. Now, he's going to choose one of those 2, and I know for his endgame scoring bonus, he has one of those. So there is another, added benefit in going first. Now, after I've played that...
That is true, because I have no idea what he has.
After I've played that, I'm going to put all 4 of these cards in my yard. I know, and I really didn't want to do that for a couple of those. I'm going to recruit... I don't like your cards very much.
0 to 5. Of course, I got 1. I guess it's 6 to 1 right now.
I do like this card, though. So I'm going to take this one, put it into my discard, replace that one.
Dude, what about those cheese puffs, man? Dude, when you're a kid, those cheese puffs are banging.
Thunder Cheese. His name's Thunder, and he's cheese puffs. That's right.
My kids love those things.
I draw back up to 5, and then we keep going until, you've already said this, till we get to 25 points or the last 4 level
or we
gets
can't
built.
fill up
That's
our
right.
park here.
That's right.
All right, and then whoever has the most victory points wins the game.
That's right. Which would me.
No.
How about that? No. I win.
No, I've got.
You got 0
I've got
points
it
right
going
now.
on.
You have 1 point.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready. Just wait until my next move.
let's talk about the art and components. What do you think, John?
Okay. The art is fantastic in this game.
Yeah. Kyle Farron.
Kyle Farron is amazing. He is my favorite board game artist. And that's saying a lot, because there's some great ones that I really love. But really, I'm just being real. I just love his quirky, just amazing. Amazing. Recessed boards are awesome. This is like a $25 game, so to be able to get recessed boards, screen printed, little tokens, resource tokens, and the art is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I don't have much to complain about. I will say all the same things that John said. I'm totally on board with the art, the components, everything. Except the card quality is one of the biggest issues. So we have these sleeves, you notice that. Sleeve these immediately unless you're just absolutely not a sleever. Yeah. But the problem with this game
is that a proper term, a sleever?
Mm-hmm, yeah. I think so. These cards are going to chip. They have chipped. We've got chipped cards. And if you want to sleeve them after one play, that's right. Now, if you want to sleeve them later on and you don't do it, you're going to pretty much have to do it with the colored sleeves so that you can't see those little chips on there. Now, if you don't care as much about that, it's not that big of a deal. However,
how can you not?
You're going to be able to see what cards are coming up. You can see what cards are going to be out here ready to come out into the fort if you've played the game enough. And hopefully you want to play this game a lot. So anyway, that's a big complaint.
That's a huge complaint for me. Everything else is phenomenal.
If you're a card sleever anyway, it doesn't matter because you're just going to do it. But I would recommend it sleeving it right away instead of waiting even after the first game.
After one play, my cards were chipping and I was like, are you kidding me? So now I've got chipped cards, but you can't tell now I've got them in sleeves. So
anyway. Now the gameplay. The gameplay is a pretty straightforward deck building game, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to be drawing 5 cards, playing cards, and discarding, drawing up, the same as you always do, and recruiting cards along the way. The thing that really makes this, there's a lot of things that make this very different, but one that really sets this one apart from other deck builders is the putting cards out into your yard. It's a big deal, which makes your decisions very interesting. You have to think, I really want to play this card. Like my last turn, for example. I really did not want to get rid of any of these cards, but at the same time, I wanted to go ahead and build a fort so that I could have first dibs on the in-game scoring card and then also be able to see what John is potentially going to be going for.
Yeah.
But again, leaving myself vulnerable with a lot of cards that I liked.
I probably would have, because I knew he was building a shovel engine. I probably would have taken moles, whether I needed it or not.
That's exactly
the hard part is Prince would be super tempting for me because I need that. I just got that Crown Ghost. I can put and we didn't do this, if you don't mind, Dean. We didn't do this action, which is a hugely important part of the game because there is a little bit of engine building in here in conjunction with deck building.
Right, yeah.
So that symbol means that. So for example, let's just say here's my next hand. It says for every crown symbol I play, so if I had Prince and I played him with Ghost, then I can take 2 cards that I have here, up to 2 cards, or 2 cards. If I can't do the 2 cards, I can only play 1. I can't just play extra cards for that reason. And I put these cards into my lookout, which those double symbols are nice. Mm-hmm. So if I decided to do that and put 2 cards there, then for the rest of the game, I basically have permanently 3 of those symbols I can use at any time whenever I'm multiplying, so I don't have to have those cards.
That's right. And if you look at the cards that I threw out there for John, he's going to look and see that's exactly what I was going to do. I was going to play a card that allowed me to put cards in my lookout based on my shovel. However, I would have only been able to do that one time, and I still would have had to put those cards out because you store cards forever up to 1 plus your fort level. Now, I would have only been able to put 1. Now I would have been able to do 2, but I left myself open for John to be able to take those. So
that's right.
So interesting. Timing,
and your backpack's the same way as well. It's 1 time plus your fort level. So yeah. Anyway, did I do that right? Did I have my fort level? I didn't. I did that wrong.
Oh, you cheated.
You need to go back and edit the video and write John cheated because this is only 1 plus your fort level. I was on fort level 0. I should have only been able to put 1 in my backpack.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and so as you're building up your fort level, it opens up more lookout spots and your backpack gets bigger, which I think is another really interesting piece that you're with that engine building part that you're talking about.
Yeah, I think so. And I agree with you. I do think the most interesting part of the game is the yard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you have that really big move off the bat, and there may be something where you could do a really good move with 3 cards, but the 1 card or something that you don't play is one you love.
Right.
And so you're like, oh my gosh, I could play this and do a pretty big move, but then I could very potentially lose that card that I absolutely love. And I think that's cool. And I don't think, Dean, that this is feels super like it's a take that in the sense. I mean, you're taking people's cards because you're doing it every turn. I don't feel like it feels mean.
Yeah, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Because again, you're going back
constantly
and forth.
doing that.
Yeah, and you're going to, even if I pick up a card from John, it doesn't mean like it's permanently gone from him. More than likely, especially if I was hate drafting, I'm going to end up putting it back out in my yard because I don't have any use for it. It's just delaying his actions that he can do.
Yeah.
Oftentimes. So.
And that's another piece. I mean, you mentioned this, but the timing is everything in this game.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't cheated there, then I would have made a really good move. But I don't know what I would have done if I would have actually gone back and thought about that. I might have played the fort card. I might have. I don't know. I probably wouldn't have. I probably would have just done one. But yeah, I think that that's really an interesting part of this game. What is my opponent going to do next? I got to try to figure out what he or she is going to do next. I've got these 5 cards in my hand. If I follow, then now I've only got 4. And that I don't think is as big of a deal in a 2-player game.
Yeah.
But when you're playing with 4 players and this player, does it and you're like, oh man, but what is she gonna do? And what is he gonna do next? And if I get rid of this skateboard right now and she plays a skateboard that I'd rather follow, I'm blowing it.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So you kind of have that push your luck. So I actually like it better at a higher player count, but I still think it's a fun game at 2. I'll also mention that I feel like early in the game, this game is super exciting. Because you're building your deck off the bat, you're getting your made-up rule, which is going to be in-game scoring. Mm-hmm. You're also going to be able to get on the second fort level, you're going to be able to get one of these, which is a permanent benefit, or there's some of them you trash the card, like that one does, the do-over.
Right. Uh-huh.
Anytime on your turn, you may trash this card from your hand and discard a card from your hand. Yeah, got that. But this one's a permanent thing. Extra large backpack, you can hold 2 extra resources. So if I had that, I could have held those extra resources. I feel like that's really fun and exciting, and then you kind of go boom, 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 and then the rest of the game, you're building your deck. I feel like you kind of run on autopilot, and I think it loses a little bit, honestly, Dean, of its luster.
As the game
progresses. I feel like you're kind of doing some of the same things, and it's still a fun game, but I'm like super excited at the beginning, and then it just kind of... Now, the box says 20 to 40 minutes. We've never experienced a 20-minute game.
No, 40 minutes in a 2-player game, yes, but not... Yeah, not 20 in any player count for sure. Yeah, I'm with you, John. It would have been kind of nice, maybe, potentially, if there were more things along the way.
Yeah.
But the other benefit, I mean, you're getting a lot of points. A lot of points. If you're the first one that gets to the end of your track, you get 23 points, and you get 4 points from the macaroni sculpture, which is big.
Yeah.
And because this is not a long, drawn-out game, like it is that race to get to the end or a race to get to 25, either way. So you do need to build somewhat of an engine that you can get one of those things going. Now, I do think you need to focus. You've got to either focus on really building up your fort fast or getting cards like the ones I played earlier that give you an engine to get points throughout the game so that you can race up on this track.
But
the focus is important.
It is. Now, these made-up rules oftentimes are... maybe not super exciting. At the end of the game, you have 5 points if you have no best friends. What was yours, by the way?
Mine is, I'm going to get 8 points if at the end of the game I have the most cards.
Okay.
Now, those other 2 cards that John had kind of lended him to not necessarily have a lot of
so
cards.
I took this one. Dean knew I wanted to take this one because I'm not good at this one, but I always want to be. So minimalism, at the end of your game, score 8 victory points if your fort is exactly level 2. I love this card because it gives me something kind of different to go for because that's a lot of points I'm giving up, right? But
you have to race.
So you have to race on your. So I think it would be. I feel like the game would be more exciting if some of the made-up rules kind of made you go in a direction a little. That's just me personally. Some people like having like the open nature, but if there was some way to make some that kind of really made you focus on this or that, and I think I would like that a little bit better. But I still like this game.
Yeah, I do too. So we'll go ahead and get into our final thoughts. Like you said, I like this game. I really enjoy the yard. I think that's really cool. I like the lookout and how you're playing cards where you want to benefit yourself that don't really benefit the other people. Yeah. And the lookout and your backpack kind of help with that, as well as playing cards that not everyone else can take advantage of, right? I really enjoy all of those pieces. My problem with this game, it's not a problem necessarily. It's just why it doesn't elevate it to like fantastic for me, is because I just want more variety of what I'm doing. Every game you're racing to get your fort up, you're racing to get the victory track up. And I feel I kind of find myself a little bit, maybe that rut that you were talking about, not rut. it's not autopilot. I don't think that's the right word, but I do feel like I'm kind of doing the same thing every single game that I play, and it loses its luster for me. So I give this game a 7. I enjoy the game. I think it's fun and I think it's clever. I think, honestly, this is one that I would just want more. I want more cards that do a lot of different things. I want more of these smaller cards, the benefits. I'd like, maybe potentially different things along the track, like you said.
Yeah.
But I just want more variety, I guess, is what I want. But I
agree.
think it's fun, and I think a lot of people are going to absolutely love this game.
I think Dean and I have really same feelings on this game. There are some things when I read the rulebook, like the yard and your lookout. It's one of those games where I read through the rulebook and I go, "Wow, that's cool. That's cool. I like that a lot." And then when I'm playing, I enjoy the game. I do enjoy the game, but there's something about that doesn't kick it up to that next level.
Sure.
Like Dean, and I totally agree with Dean. If there was some more variety with these made-up rule cards, more directions that you can go with those, or with the perks, instead of some of them just like you trash it and get to do that. Like something that can really, shift the game and make the game feel different for you. Because it does, you're trying to get a bunch of symbols to match so that you can go up the victory point track with cards that let you do that, or you're getting a bunch of stuff so that you can put it in here. And if the game was like legit 20 minutes, I think I would like it even more. But with it being a 40-minute to an hour-long game, I feel like after the first bit here, I mentioned earlier, it just feels, I don't know, autopilot's not the right word. It just kind of feels samey.
Yeah.
And you're right. I feel like in this game, the game it does feel a little bit samey to me. So it's one of those games where I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 also. I'm usually willing to play it, is what that means. So if Dean, hey, let's play 4, yeah, because it's a good game. I enjoy this game. But it's not one, and 8 would be something that I'm suggesting, and it's not one really. There's just other deck builders I would rather play, and I'm probably not going to suggest it. If it was, again, a 30-minute game, like legit, then I might suggest it when I want to play a quick deck builder. But my games, and I've played it a decent amount, have been more the 40-minute to an hour-long games. Maybe we're all terrible at the game, or maybe it's that I'm teaching new people a lot, and it takes them a little while to play the game. 7 out of 10.
Yep. All right. So that's 7 from John, 7 from me. Tell people how they can get in touch with us.
If you're enjoying our channel, we would love for you to subscribe to our channel. We're at MeepleTownGames.com if you want to check out all of our stuff. We're at Meepletown Games on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and we're Board Game Geek Guild 3407.
Thanks for coming down to Meepletown. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to follow us on Twitter at Meepletown Games, and connect with us on the Meepletown Guild, Guild number 3407, at BoardGameGeek.com, and also subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. And until next time, thanks for coming down to Meepletown.